Okay, so here's the situation. My parents went away on a week's vacation, but they left the keys to the brand new Porsche. All right. Sorry, had to. All right, so here's the real situation. How many times have you guys just been hanging out, chilling out, you go to get the mail, you open it up, and there's a random knife in the mail? You too? Good. All right, at least I'm not the only one. So I went and I was just chilling out, and I went to get the mail, and there was a random knife in the mail. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea where this thing came from. And I guess you guys, you want to see the knife, don't you? I've already opened this, because that's how I know it's a random knife in the mail. Normally when I do an unboxing, I like to be surprised along with you. You guys know how I do it. But I had to, I've had to explore this thing. I packed it back up so that you could see exactly what it looked like when I opened it up. And this is what it was. And I was like, what? Well, you know what? There wasn't this much oil the first time I took it out. I guess maybe oil settled and there wasn't oil at all. What the hell? Okay. But, so I took this thing out, and I was like, well, isn't that odd? Somebody sent me a knife, let me check through some emails. I couldn't find anything related to a blue anodized knife. And so I was like, that's weird. Well, it's got a button on it, right? Oh, look at that. That's interesting. Now, as you guys may or may not know, it is actually, there's some federal regulation to sending a switchblade through the mail. Switchblade, or as we like to, technically call it an automatic opening knife. So I'm like, wow, did somebody actually send this to me, or what is going on? How did this end up in my hands? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea where this came from. It just showed up in the mail, and then and here's the funny part. My name, you guys know, Michael. It was not addressed to Michael with an M, but to Eichel. Which is pretty odd. So I'm sitting here thinking this is like the setup to some sting operation somehow. I don't know what is going on. And then, I checked the return address, and it's in Sparks, Nevada. And I'm like, okay, interesting. And then I just started, playing detective sleuthing around. And lo and behold, I don't know. I don't know, guys, if I've, detectived it or not. But coming out of Sparks, Nevada, there is a place called Blade Addict. And it is a store. And guess what they have in stock at that store, that online retailer? This guy in 4 different colors. Now, I didn't order anything from Blade Addict. I have not been in touch with anybody from Blade Addict. But here we go. So I got this knife. And we're going to look at this knife. We're going to look at this little auto / switchblade, which is it's interesting. That it just showed up like that, and we're gonna talk about it. So here we go. Let's review this thing. So in my searching around when I first got it, and I've had it for about a day now, I was looking for things that it could remind me of, and so this is a Benchmade auto striker. And I've had this in the collection for a while. Now, I'm not comparing the quality of these two things at all, but in terms of size and weight, well, this one's a little bit heavier, but you can see it's got like a lot more construction. But they're roughly similar. Now, this is if I remember correctly, 3.5-inch blade, 8 inches overall. And this is going off of the product listing that I found at Blade Addict. And 440 steel. Now, I don't know what kind of 440 steel. 440C, 440A, 440XYZ, I don't know. And then it says aluminum. And I did a magnet test, so I knew it wasn't steel. It's way too light to be steel. But I also, kind of looking at it, I'm like, this is not going to be titanium. Not at all. Now, one of the ways you can test if it is titanium, you can grind on it and look for certain kind of sparks coming out. But I wasn't about to do that with this thing. So, anyway. But it's lightweight. I love that it comes with a deep carry clip. I'm not sure why the deep carry clip isn't a little further up there. I guess, you know, I understand you want to make a little room for that screw, but you could still put it a little further up. Some people like to have a little bit of knife outside of the pocket, I guess, okay? But it is right hand tip up only. It's got fairly good action. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's about as good as you get on the Benchmade in terms of just the action of the knife. And if we do them, let me put them closed. You guys watch the video. You tell me if you can notice any lag, if one opens better, quicker. I don't know, but solid, no play. Yeah. I mean, even the steel seems to be the same thickness. Although, you know, this is 154 cm. 440 would never equal a 154 cm blade. It has a, you know, this looks like a standard PVD coating that you would see on Kershaw, you know, CRKT, whatever. PVD is, if you're not familiar, so they put the steel in a room and it's treated, and they vaporize whatever coating that they want to put on there. And there's got a lot of other, and this is the very simple explanation. They vaporize the coating and then attract it to the steel, and it coats and bonds with the steel. And so it's on there, bonded to the metal. So it's not a paint. It's not a paint, and it's not like coated on. It's actually vaporized and then distributed to the metal and attracted to the metal that way. It's neither here nor there. You know, it's not as durable as like a Cerakote, which also micro bonds to the metal. But you can do a number of different kinds of coatings with PVD. Normally, it's just sort of like a what do they do? Titanium nitride is one that they do, and that should not confuse you and make you think it's got like now you have like a titanium blade, but it's a decent coating to protect from basic wear and tear. It will scratch off, by the way, and some corrosion resistance and stuff like that. Looking at the blade, I like the shape. I mean, I do like the shape. It's almost kind of reverse Tonto-ish going on there. Nice little swedge at the front. A little bit of a thumb ramp. Not much, though. This jimping doesn't do much for me. But overall, it's kind of a comfortable. It is kind of a comfortable hold right there. That clip, a little bit much in your hand, I gotta say. One thing that the Benchmade does give you is a lock, so that if this thing is in your pocket or whatever, you can lock it so you don't accidentally fire it. This has no such thing, and the button is more pronounced on here than on the Benchmade, and so it wouldn't take much. Actually, I'd take it back. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. What does it actually take to shoot that? Maybe it won't go off in your pocket. I don't know. Okay. It's got, I'm thinking, coil spring, just from the way it feels. A couple different ways that, you know, a Switchblade or automatic can be fired off. Now, obviously, it's not an OTF. OTF goes straight out the front, and that's a whole separate multitude of springs that makes that happen. But usually we have a torsion bar or we have a coil spring assembly over there in the pivot, and this definitely feels like a coil spring just from the way it operates. And I don't see anything in there that would indicate anything else. So not bad. It definitely could use a little bit of a strop, and it feels like there's kind of a rough area here towards the back of the blade, but out of the box, not bad. Now, I haven't told you what I saw it listed for yet on Blade Addict, and we'll get there in a minute. I'm going to keep you in suspense. You know, so fit and finish on this thing. I'm not going to do ratings because honestly, I don't know where it came from. I don't know how much it really costs. You know, so I don't want to go there with ratings and stuff like that. But we're going to talk about it some more. Fit and finish, yeah. I don't know. It could be better. I don't know if these pieces are intentionally not symmetrical, but they're not. If you take a look, this is thicker. Now, if the spring is housed in this side, so they need a thicker piece, I get it. Okay. I don't know what is specifically going on with this whole thing, but this side is definitely a thicker piece of metal than the show side, and because of that, so you have an uneven, like this screw is definitely proud compared to that one. It's coming out a little bit, and you feel it. You can feel it with your fingers. It's not like a little difference. Overall, though, the finish is not bad. I like the finish. It's like not shiny, but it's not real dull either. I mean, it's got a little bit of machining. That's not going to help your grip much, but it's going to be there. For EDC carry, now I'm not going to get into state laws. You guys look up state laws on your own, because you know what? You need to learn how to do that. People need to learn how to look stuff up. And I have had to look stuff up for many people many times, and they're like, what are my state laws? I don't know. What are your state laws, and why don't you know? Google is a wonderful tool. But, there are some states where you can freely carry an automatic knife, and it's not a problem. There are some states where putting this in your pocket, you are now carrying a concealed deadly weapon, and they would charge you just like if you were carrying a handgun without a permit, which I think is BS anyway, but whatever. So, when it comes down to carrying this, look, you've got 4 levels of laws and regulations. So the federal law pertains only to crossing state lines with, a knife, and that has more to do with interstate commerce than actual weapons regulation and stuff. But there is a federal law about crossing state lines with a switchblade, but like I said, it pertains more to commerce than actually carrying your knife, and it all depends on how they choose to interpret it and screw with your life that day. There's state laws, like how the whole state looks at it. Then there's county laws, and then there's city laws, and sometimes all those laws can contradict and conflict with each other. So you really do need to get on Google and type out know what your state says, what your county says, and what your city says. Sometimes they all match up very, very well, but there are some confusing situations where the state says one thing, so you might look up, like Pennsylvania state law, and that's great, but then you didn't look up your individual municipality, and they might have a stricter law than just the state in general. So I really recommend you look up looked up the whole 3 levels, so you know what you're doing. If you're gonna EDC, an automatic knife, or even a spring assist knife, or a gravity knife. And if you don't know what a gravity knife is, you're probably okay. Don't worry about it. But if you know you have a gravity knife, they count as a separate kind of knife in some laws. Or a dirk. You're carrying a dirk, and if you don't know what a dirk is, you're probably fine too. But anyway. So for EDC size, though, I like the blade. I like the size. I don't like an automatic knife for EDC, and the only reason is because lessons from the military, moving parts are parts that can break, period. And, you've got springs in the button, you've got springs in the knife, and you've got all sorts of stuff that can foul them up. That's why I like a nice manual opening knife for EDC purposes. Or spring assist, okay. But even a spring assist can get gummed up and get fouled up and need to be taken apart and cleaned from time to time. I don't have anything against switchblades / and I'm using the term, even though we should call them properly automatic opening knives, but I don't have anything against them. It's another level of something can go wrong with your tool, is what I'm saying. And I've demonstrated all the time. I don't have a manual. I don't have a knife with me here besides this one. Oh, darn. I'm so unprepared. I think it's foolish, it's stupid that they treat these things as a different class of knife, because modern day mechanics and engineering on knives, look at the speed that opens. Look at the speed that opens. What's the difference? What is the difference? And guess what? I can close that one with one hand. You're not going to do that with the switchblade. You're not. But in terms of opening the knife up, there's no. What's the point of punishing this category of knife and calling it more of a weapon than a manual opening knife. Absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. And I don't know why they do that. But you know, that's a whole nother thing. So the price of this knife is less than $30. This is listed on Blade Addict at $29.99, and then they were there. You know, apparently they just missed some sale where it was $19.99. Now I can't vouch for the quality of this thing. I don't know, but it's not a bad price for this knife. You know, normally this is the kind of thing that I would hate. I'd be like, you know, because I looked at the other stuff on that website, and it is all Mall Ninja-ish. It is all CS:GO stuff. It's stuff that I would. It's knife box. You know, I would probably not want to have anything related to that. But this is a very I mean, this is not great. I'm wondering how long it's going to hold up, because I can't say anything about the quality that goes into this, but it's, I mean, for less than $30, especially if you jump on, you get a sale or discount, $19.99, less than $20. I've been playing with this for a day, a little over a day now, and it has not locked up. It has not. Well, it has not. The blade has always locked up, but I mean, like, the spring has not locked on itself. It has not fired open. It has. I hate to say it, but it's been a decent little knife. I definitely want to put a better edge on it. I want to find out why I have it. That's what I wanted. That's why I want to find out. You know, did somebody send me this on purpose and I missed the email, or did I win a contest I'm not aware of, or how did they get Eichel's address? I don't know, but really interesting little knife that you guys could, if you're into it. I don't know. Again, I can't. I mean, I saw it locked. I am aware. There's a definite difference in quality and materials here, but I also know that when you get something from this company and companies like it, you are paying a premium for that logo on the blade. You know, you are paying for the better quality materials, but you're paying a lot for that right there, or you're also paying a lot for that right there. You know. And it's just odd that this thing would just land here, and it's, you know, it's got no name. It's got nothing. Nothing. It's stealth. And I intend to give this little guy a workout and see what it can do, and probably get back to you guys on it. So, interesting mail call day. Stealth, secret, showing up knife. Aluminum. 440 of some kind, PVD blade. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the mystery knife that showed up here? I know there's some folks that I know would just be like, hey, I'll put it in a collection, why not? Would anybody, and you know, you can comment in relation to your local laws, or say I don't care about the laws in general, but I would carry that knife, you know, whether, you know, whatever. What do you guys think? I think actually it's got, on the one hand, because it's just so metal and whatever looking, it does have a bit of a cheap look to it. But on the other hand, I like the simplicity. I do. I really like the simplicity of it. And I also think it's a good, you know, if I was going to do any kind of custom stuff, it's a good candidate for that. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this mysterious knife that just showed up on my door? I could be holding a murder weapon right now, putting my fingerprints all over it. I don't know. Thanks, guys, for watching. I can't wait to see what you guys think of this. You know, the funny part is too, I know that if I hadn't done their work, I know I could have just put this blade in front of you guys and said, where does this thing come from? I know you guys are awesome enough that within an hour I would have had 10 different responses telling me to go to Blade Addict and find it, because that's how cool you guys are, and that's how good you guys are at doing that sleuthing stuff, and how much better you are at internet than I am. So I appreciate you guys. I really do. I mean it when I say I appreciate every single one of you, and you are all absolutely awesome. And I'll be back again real soon.